Life inside ADX Florence, the prison that breaks men. Imagine a place where sunlight barely touches your skin, where men spend 23 hours a day in a cell the size of a bathroom. A place so secure that escape isn't even part of the conversation because nobody believes it's possible. This is not just a prison, this is ADX Florence, America's Alcatraz of the Rockies. A fortress designed not to hold bodies, but to break minds. The birth of America's harshest prison. In the late 20th century, the United States faced a terrifying reality. Its most dangerous inmates, terrorists, cartel leaders, gang generals, and serial killers were manipulating the system. From inside their cells, they orchestrated murders, drug empires, and even nationwide terror plots. Traditional maximum security prisons could not contain them. Then came the tipping point, 1983. 2 guards brutally murdered inside the walls of the Marion Penitentiary in Illinois, at the time the toughest prison in America. The killers were members of the Aryan Brotherhood, proving once and for all that even Marion wasn't enough. The federal government needed something different, something permanent, something terrifying. And so, in the rugged mountains of Colorado, construction began on the most secure prison the world had ever seen. In 1994, the United States Penitentiary Administrative Maximum Facility, ADX Florence, opened its gates. And from day one, it wasn't just a prison. It was a psychological experiment. The architecture of isolation. ADX is not built like other prisons. Every inch is designed to control human behavior. Imagine a 7 by 12 foot concrete box, a bed, a toilet, a sink, and a slot in the door. No bars, just steel and cement. A narrow slit for a window, angled so you can see nothing of the outside world except a slice of sky. For 23 hours a day, this is life. The other hour, spent in what inmates call the dog run, a small caged outdoor pen where they can walk in circles alone. No yard, no group recreation, no human contact. Every meal slides through a slot. Conversations are muffled through concrete walls. Even eye contact with another inmate is rare. The design itself doesn't just confine the body, it erases the idea of society. The men inside, ADX. Florence holds the names you know, and the names you fear. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber who killed 168 people. Until his execution in 2001, ADX was his final home. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, lived out decades of isolation here before ending his life in 2023. Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, Mexico's most infamous drug lord, spends 23 hours a day in a solitary cell after 2 legendary escapes in Mexico made it clear he could never be trusted in a normal prison. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston Marathon bomber, remains confined here under a death sentence. But ADX isn't just for terrorists and cartel leaders. It also houses the most violent gang leaders in America, men who ordered murders with a whisper, men who controlled prison yards with just a glance. Life inside, a day in the box. The daily routine inside ADX is a cycle of monotony and silence. Wake up on a steel bed bolted to the floor. Breakfast through the slot. Usually bland, processed trays, oatmeal, powdered eggs, sometimes a slice of fruit. A few hours of reading, writing, or staring at the wall. Lunch, then maybe an hour of recreation in the cage outside, always alone. Back to the cell, dinner, lights out, silence. No phone calls unless approved, no visits unless behind thick glass. For many inmates, even letters are censored or withheld. Human voices become echoes. Human faces become memories. And this is the design. ADX is not about rehabilitation, it's about control. It's about neutralizing men who once thrived on power and influence. But what happens when you take power away from men who live for it? The psychological warfare. The United Nations has condemned solitary confinement longer than 15 days as torture. At ADX, men spend years, even decades, in it. Inmates report hallucinations. Some scream through the night. Others mutilate themselves just to feel something. Former wardens admit this place was designed to wear men down until they no longer resist. One ex-inmate said, "At ADX, you don't live. You exist. Escape is not an option." At most prisons, there's always the whisper of escape. Inmates dig tunnels, bribe guards, jump fences. But at ADX Florence, the very concept of escape is a fantasy. The prison is layered with obstacles: 12-foot concrete walls, razor wire, motion detectors, cameras, pressure pads, laser beams, guard towers, and armed patrols. Even if someone broke out of their cell, which has never happened, they'd still face multiple layers of reinforced fencing and armed snipers watching 24/7. The Bureau of Prisons itself once called ADX escape-proof, and so far they've been right. The death row within, ADX. Florence also serves another role, housing federal death row inmates before their executions. Men like Timothy McVeigh spent their last years here. McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, was executed in 2001 after being held under the tightest security in Florence. His final days were spent staring at gray walls, cut off from any outside influence. Today, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, the Boston Marathon bomber, remains under death sentence inside these same walls. And though executions are rare in the federal system, ADX keeps these men under such strict isolation that death itself almost feels like a release. The step-down program, a false hope. On paper, ADX Florence offers hope. The Bureau of Prisons advertises a step-down program, a system where well-behaved inmates can gradually earn their way out of extreme isolation. Over months and years, they might progress from total solitary to limited contact with other inmates. In theory, it's a path back to general population. But in reality, critics argue the program is a mirage. Many inmates are excluded due to their crimes. Others are kept in solitary for decades with little explanation. Even those who qualify often find the system vague, subjective, and painfully slow. As one former inmate put it, at ADX, you can be perfect for years and still never leave the box. Famous inmates who still rot inside ADX. Florence is a hall of infamy. Some of the most dangerous men alive are serving life sentences here, never to walk free again. Ramzi Youssef, mastermind of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He once bragged that ADX was worse than death. Richard Reed, the so-called shoe bomber, who tried to blow up a transatlantic flight in 2001. Robert Hanssen, the FBI agent who became one of America's most damaging spies, selling secrets to Russia. Until his death in 2023, he lived in total isolation. Zacarias Moussaoui, convicted for his role in the 9/11 attacks. These men represent the extremes: terrorists, traitors, cartel leaders, mass murderers, each one silenced behind concrete and steel, stripped of the power they once wielded.